These two players have played twice recently in the Euro-Asia Cup. Samsonov won both times, but at the recent Volkswagen Cup at the end of March, Mizutani beat Samsonov. So they've played 3 times this year. Samsonov won 2, Mizutani 1. So the holder is the favourite. He's ranked higher, but he's going to have his work cut out, that's for sure. It's the best of 7 games, each game to 11 points. And having completed a 2-minute practice session, this quarter-final is just about to start, and it's Mizutani to serve first. Both players favour a topspin style. Samsonov containing well. His return of serve wasn't great. Mizutani be disappointed there. He got in with the first strong topspin, but it was well countered by Vladimir Samsonov. Again, it's Mizutani in with the first topspin. This time he makes the winner. So, all 4 points going against the serve. Quite unusual. Superb rally. Both players spraying the ball around the table, playing backhand and forehand topspins. Samsonov, who won the point, he now leads by 3 points to 2. Mizutani throwing that topspin up a little bit higher, not quite as much speed and spin, as we'll see here on the replay. And it's the variation in pace that wins the point. Not quite enough pace on the ball for Samsonov to make the block as he did. Interesting tactics from Samsonov, going out wide all the time into the Mizutani forehand. Mizutani, of course, a left-handed player. There we see him reaching out wide onto his forehand side. Wonderful play by both players. Mizutani forcing Samsonov away from the table, a little bit further than Samsonov would like. But nevertheless, the counter topspins from away from the table from Samsonov, world class. Excellent start to this second quarter-final. Just catching the leading edge. Samsonov's racket flying off the end of the table. Quite an interesting situation in the group stage for Samsonov. He won his first 2 games against Oh Sung-un and Werner Schlager, which guaranteed him first place in the group, irrespective of his result against Alexei Smirnov, which took place earlier today. And in fact, Samsonov lost that final match in his group. So the 1 game he's played today he's lost. And he'll be determined to get out of that losing routine. And of course now we're at the knockout stage, so 1 defeat and you're out of the tournament. players entitled to use the towel every 6 points. Both players taking the opportunity. It's very warm out there in the centre of the arena. Removing perspiration from their hands, from the racket. Mizutani very quick on his feet, looking to play the forehand whenever he can. Very quick, very dynamic. But Samsonov spraying the ball around the table, using the angles, using a little bit of side spin. Excellent serve from Mizutani. Samsonov wasn't sure whether the second bounce was coming over the edge of the table. Ending up rushing his returner serve and making an error. 7-all. Samsonov with his 2 serves. Mizutani misreading the spin, lifted what he thought was backspin. There was no spin to lift, pushing the ball off the end of the table. And again, the return a fraction too high. Samsonov very quick to capitalise, in with the forehand topspin. 2 out of 2 on the Samsonov serve. Mizutani now with his 2 serves. Good patience there from Mizutani, letting the ball get to the top of its bounce, hitting straight through the back of the ball and downwards, as we see there, jumping off the floor to get that little bit more power. And Samsonov throwing the ball high up into the air. And that backhand topspin just missing. Samsonov going for the angle out wide to the Mizutani forehand. Just went for too big an angle. So that's 2 points out of 2 for Mizutani with the serve. And now, as we reach the business end of this first game, it's Samsonov with his 2 serves. Mizutani was a little bit fortunate with the net cord, but Samsonov recovered incredibly well. Gave himself a second chance to win the point, but it wasn't to be. And so it's Mizutani with the first game point. And that's an error by Vladimir Samsonov. The ball popped up, maybe took him by surprise, but nevertheless it's Mizutani who takes the first game, 11 points to 9. Best of 7 games, first player to win 4, and it's Mizutani who has taken a 1-0 lead in games. And there is Alexandra Petkovic coaching the 34-year-old from Belarus. And we have Yoshito Miyazaki, former Japanese national team player, in the corner, coaching Jun Mizutani. Situation confirmed on screen. Mizutani takes the first game 11-9. Still a long way to go. But of course Samsonov will be conscious of having lost the game earlier today at the group stage, albeit it didn't matter. But nevertheless, he'll want to get that out of his system as soon as possible. So the players back, ready for the second game. And it's Samsonov to serve. drop shot from Samsonov. He's spraying the ball around the table, but Mizutani incredibly quick on his feet. And that's very high on the bounce to take a drop shot, but the surprise element won the point. And indeed, Samsonov takes the second point. He now leads 2-0, having taken both on the serve. Mizutani now with his 2 serves to come. Backhand topspin, just catching the top of the net. Very loose grip, Mizutani on the serve. Fast accelerating racket. Hitting different parts of the ball, imparting different spin. Not easy to read, but Samsonov doing well. What a fantastic rally. Superb top spins, but it's Mizutani. A wry smile, a wry grin on his face. He's enjoying it out there, and so he should be. Look at that top spin there. A little bit of side spin just to take it out even wider to the Samsonov backhand. Great combination, the backhand topspin on the diagonal, steps round, drills it down the line with a rocket forehand topspin. Mizutani looking in great shape. The youngster, 21 years of age, up against the experienced 34-year-old. High throw up on the serve there from Samsonov. Ball comes down a little bit quicker, generate a little bit more spin. Good backhand block down the line from Samsonov. A very useful 3-point lead. Well anticipated by Samsonov. The hallmark of a great player there. Seems to have so much time. He anticipated the topspin down the middle of the table, just stepped across, gave himself a little bit of room and played a superb counter topspin. Excellent play. Very smooth action on that backhand topspin, Samsonov. Very graceful. Very smooth, 7-2. This time the forehand topspin down the line. And the 21-year-old from Japan at the moment has no answers in this second game. He wasn't sure where that one was going. Again, a very good topspin to topspin rally. Both players demonstrating excellent backhand and forehand techniques, moving the ball around the table. This time Samsonov pinning Mizutani down the backhand side. Samsonov now 2 points away from winning this second game. He leads 9-3 and he's now got his 2 serves to come. Seven game points for the holder of the title. That's one save, 6 still to go. And now Mizutani with his 2 serves. Threw the backhand topspin up with a little bit more spin, took the pace off the ball. Less pace, more spin, just by varying the point of contact. And the reverse action service straight down the line, the racket moving away from the body as it strikes the ball, coming underneath it a little bit to give it a little bit of backspin. So 10-7. Samsonov with his second serve. He'll be looking to close it out this time because he'll have the Mizutani serve to face if he's not careful. And there it is. Samsonov takes the second game 11-7. This quarter-final now is all square, 1 game apiece. Remember, it's the best of 7 games. Samsonov winning that second game 11-7, and Mizutani having won the first game 11-9. Alexander Petkovic, very experienced coach, been on the scene for a long time, been coaching Samsonov since he was a very young player on the circuit. And there Yoshito Miyazaki giving words of wisdom to Jun Mizutani. Players now get a short break in between games. Important to take on fluid, very hot out there. And indeed take on advice from what are 2 very experienced coaches. And so, players back now at the table for the start of the third game. Mizutani to serve at the start of the third game. Fast accelerating wrist coming underneath the ball, backspin. Sometimes a little bit more difficult to see the point of contact when you return, when a right-hander's returning serve from a left-hander. Looking down the line at the service action. Oh, wonderful. Backhand topspin's the first one down the line, the second one out wide to the Mizutani forehand. Great use of the angles. There's the first one down the line, and then early off the bounce, out wide on the diagonal. Superb play. Samsonov was runner-up in the World Championships in the men's singles in 1997. He lost to the all-time great, possibly the finest player I've ever seen, Jan-Ove Waldner, on that occasion, who put together one of the best displays I've ever seen in the game of table tennis. Samsonov had previously beaten Waldner in the team event in Manchester, but then unfortunately for Vladimir Samsonov, he came against arguably the best player the world's ever seen in great form in the final. But nevertheless, still a wonderful achievement. Runner-up in the World Championships. Good deception there. Just changed his body action slightly, sent the ball out wide to the Mizutani forehand. Clever serve, fast serve down the line. Mizutani slightly soft with the backhand return, allowed Samsonov to get in with the first strong topspin and dominate the rally. This time the return out wide to the forehand. Very good tactics from the experienced Belarusian. Ball kicking slightly higher off the table than Samsonov anticipated. But Samsonov now with his 2 serves. And again it's that backhand topspin, the ever faithful, consistent backhand topspin. Once again delivering the goods for Samsonov. Players using the towel, 12 points. Entitled to use it every 6 points. Slight look of frustration there from Samsonov, not happy with the bounce. Maybe the ball bouncing a little bit higher. Mizutani out wide on the backhand side, playing forehands. There we see the loose grip and then the reverse action service. But it's Samsonov with a strong return, stays close to the table, takes the initiative and puts Mizutani under pressure. And it's 9-5 in favour of Samsonov, his 2 serves to come. Samsonov now with 5 game points in this 3rd game. First one saved, 4 match points, game points I should say, remain. And there we go, Mizutani pushing off the end of the table, and Samsonov takes the 3rd game 11-6. He now leads by 2 games to 1, having lost the first game 11-9, and then winning the second 11-7, and the third, as we've just seen, by 11 points to 6. Yoshito Miyazaki there on screen coaching the youngster from Japan, Mizutani. And there we have Alexander Petrovic been coaching Samsonov ever since he appeared on the circuit as a young cadet player. Seems to have the perfect temperament, Vladimir Samsonov. Very well respected by all the players on the circuit, a very popular person. Plays the game in exactly the right spirit, gives it 100%. But one of the fairest players you'll ever come across. And so both players back at the table. And it's Samsonov to serve at the start of the 4th game. That's a great backhand topspin. This time played over the table, played it out wide to the left-hander's forehand. Superb angle. Again, Samsonov just looking at the table, removing any dust or perspiration that's landed on the table. Scores level, 1 point apiece. See in the background the capacity crowd here in Magdeburg, enjoying some superb table tennis in what is the perfect setting for this event. The local organisers and the Deutsche Tischtennisbund have done a superb job in staging this event, as indeed have the International Table Tennis Federation in promoting this event and other events that they do on the world circuit at the moment. Very consistent Samsonov, forcing Mizutani away from the table and then playing safe topspins, using the angles. There we see him fairly close to the table, Mizutani off the screen. Again, Samsonov just getting himself a little bit worked up. He's a little bit worried about the bounce of the ball. Again, wiping the table. He now has his 2 serves to come, but he's 5-3 down. Heavy backspin on the serve. Mizutani not quite lifting the spin, didn't open his racket up enough. Again, Samsonov getting himself a little bit worked up about the bounce of the ball on the table. Looks at the coach, Alexander Petkovic. A look of frustration. Samsonov with the serves, but he's 4 points adrift. That's Samsonov at his best, staying up at the table, forcing Mizutani away. This time the forehand topspin from Samsonov, just catching the top of the net, flicks it off the end of the table. And the body language from Samsonov, not what you would normally expect. Composing himself though. But now Mizutani with 5 game points to level this quarter-final at 2 games apiece. And he does it at the first time of asking. Mizutani takes the 4th game, 11-5. And this quarter-final now perfectly poised, 2 games each. Mizutani winning the first 11-9. Samsonov the second and third 11-7, 11-6, and then the most convincing win of all, the 4th game by Mizutani by 11 points to 5. There we have the situation confirmed on screen as Yoshito Miyazaki passes on words of wisdom, as indeed does Alexander Petkovic. And this quarter-final is certainly a difficult one to call. Potentially the experience of Samsonov, 34 years of age, being a top world-class player for over 15 years, even longer, should stand him in good stead. But certainly the youngster from Japan, the 21-year-old, in great form. And Mizutani now in the top 10 in the world. Has been ranked as high as number 8. He's currently number 10, so just in that top 10. So in fact, at this point in time, with Samsonov ranked at number 8, there's very little between these two players on the ITTF World Ranking list. That's a great use of the angle. That ball was on the sideline, on the white line, with side spin. And here we'll see it again. Came across the outside of the ball to give it that little bit of side spin. Good start by the Belarus player. Forehand topspin from Samsonov, just caught the leading edge, flew off the end of the table. Very patient play, very clever play from Mizutani. Never easy when a player gets himself into position away from the table, starts throwing the ball up high. Unlike the world-class player he is, Samsonov was keeping the ball deep. Even though he was throwing it high, it was always near the baseline on Mizutani's side. This time Mizutani staying close to the table, getting in with the strong top spins. And after the first 6 points of this 5th game, both players going to the towel, as they are fully entitled to do. Both will be perspiring a fair bit, very hot under the TV lights and in this capacity crowd. Four consecutive points for Mizutani. Samsonov will be keen to break that run, and so he does. Backhand topspin out wide to the left-hander's forehand, just catching the edge of the table. Samsonov very quick to acknowledge his good fortune. Good tight push, and there we see it just clipping the edge of the table. That is a fantastic shot. The backhand angled out wide to Mizutani's forehand, then Samsonov, as you hear, steps round, takes that forehand topspin off the bounce, takes it very early, straight down the line. It's great play. Excellent anticipation. Very brave tactics. Samsonov now with his 2 serves. Forehand topspin down the line. So now it's Samsonov who's put together a string of 4 consecutive points. And it took the net cord from Mizutani to break the run. But as we saw there, great footwork to get back into the table and make the forehand topspin from the 21-year-old from Japan. Mizutani now with his 2 serves to come. Backhand to backhand exchange down the line. It's the brave man who takes Samsonov on at consistency. Contorting his body into all sorts of positions there, Jun Mizutani. Playing one forehand topspin from almost off the floor, and again you can see that look of frustration. There he is on the floor playing the topspin, and as I mentioned, the look of frustration on Samsonov's face there, but nevertheless he leads 8-6, and he's got his 2 serves to come. Superb play from Mizutani. Again, it's the top spin, but this time he took the ball very early off the bounce. Of course, the earlier you take the ball off the bounce, the more difficult it is, but it certainly gives your opponent far less time to react. The return slightly higher. The variation in speed and spin, winning the point. And that's two very, very important points against the service. Mizutani now with his two serves to come. Very much a pivotal moment now in this quarter-final. Mizutani moving the ball around the table. A little bit of cat and mouse during that rally. Both players looking to outmaneuver the other. So Mizutani now 3 consecutive points. Leads 9-8. And his second serve in this sequence. The ball just catching the top of the net. Well spotted by the umpires. That serve called. Samsonov shakes his head. He led 8-6. He's just lost the last 4 points. He now faces 2 game points. He does, of course, have his 2 serves to come, but nevertheless it's 2 game points to the youngster from Japan. And there it is, first time of asking. Mizutani takes the 5th game, 11-8. And now the 21-year-old from Japan is just 1 game away from a place in the semi-finals here at the Men's World Cup in Magdeburg. Samsonov forehand there, just going off the end of the table. Good touch. A little bit of disguise there from the Japanese player. His coach Yoshito Miyazaki will be very happy, especially if he could see what we can see on screen there. His player leading 3 games to 2, having won the last 2 games, 11-5, 11-8. And Alexander Petkovic there on screen will be a little bit worried. He saw his player lose the final match in his group early this morning to Smirnov from Russia. It was a match that didn't have any effect on the group. Samsonov was already assured the #1 position in the group, but nevertheless psychologically it's always a little bit of a blow to have a defeat. I just wonder if that has affected Samsonov. He now is 3 games to 2 down. Of course, it's the best of 7. Samsonov has to win the next 2 games. Mizutani, of course, just needs 1 of the next 2. But Samsonov, who's made the stronger start, he takes the first 2 points, but now faces the Mizutani serve. Good service, second bounce very close to the baseline. Samsonov just rushed that returner serve slightly. Mizutani did well there, just chucked the ball up in the air, threw it up, took the speed and spin off it. tactics from Samsonov, pinning Mizutani down the backhand side. The serve just drifted off the side, but only slightly. Mizutani couldn't quite get in with the forehand topspin he would have liked. Almost made it, but not quite. The high return from Mizutani. That's a good backhand. Straight off the bounce. Gave Samsonov very little time, as we'll see here. Catches the leading edge, flies off the bat. Superb play from Mizutani. Counter topspins from away from the table, then he managed to get in with a stronger backhand topspin, and then in with that forehand topspin to win the point. There's the stronger backhand topspin I mentioned, and then the forehand topspin to win the point. A chance miss there by Mizutani. Determined play by the 21-year-old from Japan, grunting each time he made the forehand topspin. Samsonov just stepped slightly away from the table. Very difficult to get the ball past him. He anticipates so well. And here we see the Japanese player working ever so hard for that point, but he'll be delighted he won it. And he's now 1 point adrift and leads by 3 games to 2. Just played that backhand from a slightly cramped position, almost played it from underneath his arm, his playing arm. Samsonov, 7-5, 2 serves to come. Mizutani punches the air with delight. That was a great rally. Samsonov did quite superbly to return some of those balls. And that was only a fraction away from making it. 7-6. Second serve in this sequence. Good reactions from Samsonov. He adjusted to the ball catching the net cord. Mizutani went for the block down the line, but a little bit too much power for him to contain. So Mizutani, 2 serves to come. Taking the ball very early off the bounce, Samsonov. What a fantastic angle. You very, very rarely see Samsonov not get at least his bat on the ball. But on that occasion, even he had no answer whatsoever. An ace out wide to the Samsonov forehand. Don't see it very often. 9-7. 2 Samsonov serves to come. Again, the second bounce on or around the baseline. Mizutani hesitated. Samsonov now with 3 game points. There it is, the first time of asking. Vladimir Samsonov takes the 6th game, 11-7, and now this quarter-final evenly poised at 3 games apiece, and we await the start of the 7th game, which will of course be the final game, the winner moving through to the semi-finals of the Men's World Cup here in Magdeburg, Germany. Story to date on screen, very difficult one to call. Mizutani, the younger, by some 11, 12 years, 13 years in fact, 13 years older, Vladimir Samsonov, than his opponent. Will the experience pull him through, or will the younger, very energetic, dynamic player from Japan be able to pull off one of the best wins of his career to date? So the coaches, Miyazaki and Petkovic, have had their final words with the players, and the players now back out at the table, waiting for the start of the 7th and final game in this quarter-final. Mizutani of Japan to serve at the start of this final game. Samsonov certainly psyched up for this game, which is hardly surprising. A place in the semi-final of the World Cup at stake. Punches the air as he takes the first point. Let the ball drop a little bit too low. Miyazaki clearly quite happy with that point as he applauds his player. Good combination of forehand and backhand topspin from Mizutani. There's the backhand that won the point. Samsonov determined to stay close to the table. Tactic clearly appreciated by his coach Alexander Petkovic. Not sure what happened there. Samsonov looked as though he completely misread the spin. The ball popped up in the air. Just checks his racket, but he looks as though he thought there was a little bit of backspin on the ball, lifted it, and of course there wasn't any backspin. The ball returned very high. This time Samsonov going for the long push into the Mizutani backhand. Surprise element winning the point. There we see long push almost on the baseline. Mizutani reacted well. Instinct was to go for the backhand topspin. It was a good instinct, but the ball just caught the top of the net and flew off the edge of the table. 3 points each. That's great use of the angles. Samsonov stepped across to play a forehand from the backhand side, left himself exposed on the forehand. Mizutani very quick to exploit that weakness. Came across the inside of the ball, gave it a little bit side spin, as we can see there. The ball going away from the Samsonov forehand. A desperate lunge. And the players now change ends, as this is the final game in this quarter-final. And it's Mizutani, who has his nose slightly in the lead. This is only Mizutani's second appearance in the World Cup. He got through to the group stage, finished third in his group, so didn't qualify for the quarter-finals in 2009. So he's already gone one stage better. And at the moment, it looks as though he could go through to the semi-finals, leading 6-3. And it's Samsonov and his coach, Petkovic, who called the timeout. Each player is entitled to one timeout during the match. And quite clearly, the coach, the player feel the momentum slightly changing into favour of Mizutani. It's a good opportunity to break that momentum, take a minute, take on some advice, and there we can see the timeout machine counting down. 18 seconds to go. Mizutani already back at the table, followed shortly by Samsonov. And there we see Samsonov having used his timeout. And Mizutani now with his second serve in this sequence. Samsonov just let that ball drop a little bit too low. Should have thrown the ball up a little bit higher. Instead he went for the fast forehand topspin. Caught the top of the net, flicked off the end of the table. Mizutani now 4-point lead. And it's Samsonov with his two serves. What a crucial two serves these are. Certainly needs both points. Fantastic backhand topspin down the line. Caught the top of the net, which, in fairness to Mizutani, was very quick to acknowledge. But what a high-risk shot. And it reaped the dividends, that's for sure. And that's a great shot by Mizutani. Took the pace completely off the ball, but managed to keep it low over the net. Very difficult shot. And Samsonov now with a mountain to climb, that's for sure. Mizutani with his two serves to come leads 9-3. Again, the consistent backhand and forehand topspins, the hallmark of this 21-year-old from Japan, Jun Mizutani, gives him 7 match points. One saved. Samsonov now with his two serves to come. That's 2 match points saved. So are we going to see a Japanese timeout? And indeed, yes, we are. Mizutani and coach Miyazaki deciding that this is an opportune time 3 match points saved by the former world ranked #1 and the current holder of this title, Vladimir Samsonov. But the players fairly quickly back at the table. Mizutani now has his 2 serves. And still 4 match points remain. And there it is. The 21-year-old, the youngster from Japan, Jun Mizutani, currently ranked #10 in the world, secures his place in the semi-final here in Magdeburg at the Men's World Cup, beating Vladimir Samsonov 11-6 in the deciding game. What an excellent quarter-final. It seesawed throughout the whole duration. And there we see the story of the final confirmed on screen. Jun Mizutani winning by 4 games to 3 and winning the deciding game by 11 points to 6. So Jun Mizutani causes an upset, knocking out the holder, and the